During the visit of the EU delegation, I caught up with Sergi Abu, ambassador of the EU to China, to discuss bilateral trade. Now, in this interview, we looked at the growing prominence of intellectual property rights in international discussions and the potential impact on Sino-EU trade. The U.S. announced that it has started a special procedure under WTO rules to obtain information on China's intellectual property enforcement efforts. So as a significant member of the WTO and obviously a very important trading partner of both China and the U.S., what's the view of EU on the U.S. action?
We share the concern. Intellectual property respect is very important for both EU, US, and it's also important for China itself. And we really have concern about implementation of all the rules. The rules are good in China, the laws, the legislation is good, but the level of implementation is still unsatisfactory. So clearly we share the concern. As for the US initiative, what I've understood is that we are not in a case of dispute settlement. It's a request for formal or more formal information.
Right, disclosure of more information.
Disclosure of information.
Right.
In such exception, I think it's normal. After all, if one trade bloc has a problem, that he wants to be informed. As for us, European Union, I think for the moment, we have a working group on intellectual property, which has met a few days ago, and so let's say we have our own bilateral mechanism. Would it be sufficient? For the moment, I don't know, so I cannot exclude any other approach.
Now, let's put this into context. We know Japan and Switzerland has joined the U.S. in submitting similar requests. And currently, there's this high tension going on between the U.S. and the EU in terms of how to curb farm subsidies and tariffs within the WTO framework. Obviously, the U.S. hope to enlist the EU's backing of this initiative as well. So will the EU take action at all?
Normally, we are not taking part in tactic games.
Right.
What I can confirm to you is that the problem is serious. The concern is serious for us. And my personal analysis is that we have not yet exhausted the short-term possibility of discussing that in bilateral way with our Chinese partners. But I cannot exclude, after all, if we have another disappointment, let's say, that at one point we envisage something, but is not for the moment a formal position of EU, and I don't see it immediately, let's say, within the 2-3 days.
We all know EU is China's largest trading partner now. So, and you said before, intellectual property right is a concern for the EU and also for China. So how serious is this concern in our bilateral trade?
Intellectual property is more general.
Right, it covers a lot of industry.
It covers a lot. In terms of the macroeconomic effect is still not as important, let's say, as construction or as financial services, but it has a very important negative effect, is to discourage investment. Even if it's economically, it still not has the importance of the sectors I've quoted. It is very important for certain industry, like luxury goods, certainly the trademark. But it's spreading in pharmaceutical, for example, which is not only a trade concern, but also a health concern. It's more and more in trade in spare parts of machinery, which could be also of an immense danger. So it is certain that the tensions are mounting.
Right. Given the fact that it is a problem, it is a concern, how do you think the dialogue between the two sides is going on over the issue of IPR protection in China?
I'm a diplomat, so I would never deny the importance of continuing the dialogue. But I really think that we know the position of each other. We should pass from dialogue to cooperation, really. For example, we have proposed, Mr. Mendelssohn has proposed 1 year ago to Madame Wu to make a real diagnostic, a common and share diagnostic of how we tackle the problem in Europe. Because you have not exclusivity of counterfeiting, but we have developed methods. We have developed not only repressive methods, but incitative methods, investigation methods, etc., etc. The leadership in China should agree to certain form of cooperation between our custom officers, our judicials, our police officers, enforcement, etc. From the Chinese part, I think they should invest perhaps more in terms of more judges, more rapid decisions of justice, perhaps increasing the training, the involvement of the repressive forces, etc. I mean, it's a strategy to be developed, and we are ready again to cooperate on this.
Extending from trade to the general China-EU partnership, Mr. Abu added that the top priority for both sides is to come up with a new EU-China framework agreement as soon as possible.